County Commission meeting for Wednesday, March 17th, 2021 to order. If you will rise. Dear Heavenly Father, I would ask that you be with this commission and the decisions that will be made today and in the future, the coming days, as well as be with those that are hurting right now all over the world, and be with all governments as they go through budget times right now. And I ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Parker, I think the 10 a.m. was just entering order. Is that correct?
That's correct, Madam President. There was a hearing scheduled for that time. That's the reason we left the time slot open. But we have an agreed upon order that's been presented for the commission to just consider for approval. That requires the president's
And
signature.
it's to appoint a fiduciary commission, special fiduciary commissioner, Gary Morris, correct?
Correct.
Who is an attorney out of Phillips County.
Yes.
What's the pleasure?
Move to approve.
Been moved to approve and affix signature or signatures. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, move on to public comment. And I think we have some persons that wish to speak. Am I correct, John?
Yes, you are correct. I'll have Rocky up first.
Okay.
As you see in the letter, and you haven't read mine yet, I just passed it out. But the question where the commission talked about making changes, step grade, pay grade. We hear, the letter was done by my employees and it's signed by them, but with my 100% backing that they want to continue step grade, pay grade. And it's a good plan they brought in, and they're happy when the plan was brought in. They're also questioning the parking lot, the county parking lot, that, that should be filled with county employees first and foremost, and that's basically the gist of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Robbie. Next.
Thank you. Appreciate the time this morning. Just to say a few things. Like Assessor Romano, my employees also came with me with some concerns.
For the record, you might want to say who you are and where
Oh,
you're at.
okay.
Not that we don't know that.
Okay, I'm Albert Morano, I'm circuit clerk here in Harrison County. My employees also came to me with some concerns. Several wanted to take their lunch hour and come down and present this themselves. I just didn't want to create a lot of confusion in the clerk's office, and I wanted them to continue and get their lunch hour at the right time. I told them that I support their cause and I would come down and present it to you all just to keep the confusion down. They also drafted a letter, and they were united in drafting this letter. All of them signed off on it. They also would like to see the pay scale thing continue and the parking lot issues that you discussed in the past to be fortified and set forth as what you discussed in the past, and then not be changed again. So, but anyway, the letter, you all received the letter. Each of them are a little different. The employees expressed their feelings in the letter. Please take a look at the letter. It's very sincere. They're very sincere upstairs in my staff. And I think the letter speaks for itself. The employees speak for themselves. And with that, that's all I have to say. And again, appreciate your time, and thanks again.
Thank you, Albert. By the process of elimination, I think Rachel.
I didn't know if John was going to stand up first or not.
Oh.
Rachel Romano, Harrison County Prosecuting Attorney. You know, I don't want any of you to feel like we're all ganging up as elected constitutional officials and, you know, taking it out on the commission, because I don't think anybody envies the position you all have to be in setting the county's budget. And we all understand that you are the fiscal body and you have to have the entire county's interests in mind when you do what you do. That being said, though, my office too has drafted a letter, and they've asked for your consideration that one of the very final places that you turn to and look towards in trying to tighten the budget this fiscal year would be in their pay grade and step scale. They work very hard for this county, and they value their jobs, and they value their employment, and they value you as commissioners and the respect that you've always shown them, past bodies, this body. And they're just asking for your consideration when making the budget, that you keep in mind how hardworking they are and how this pay grade and step system has become a part of their life and a part of their livelihood and what they've tried to build their futures off of. And to, I don't want to say pull it out from underneath them, because that's certainly not what you all are doing at all, but to alter it without some open discussions with at least us as their elected officials here to represent them and to talk about it with you all, could be very life altering for some people. They've looked towards their future with this pay scale. You can see it's set out for you in the steps and the levels. And people have made accommodations in their life based upon that. They've known from the inception that it wasn't necessarily a guarantee. Everybody understood that when we implemented it 3 years ago. But that being said, we are a fortunate county. I know we've hit maybe a little bit of a rough patch right now, but we would like to all work together to see if this isn't something that we could overcome without having to alter this on the backs of our employees. So I think my letter lays it out. It's their letter. So just please consider it and, you know, at least ask us as elected officials to be a part of any discussions going forward, if you don't mind. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rachel. John?
I'm last, I guess, briefly. My name is John Spires. I'm the Harrison County Clerk currently. I basically echo what the three of them said. And I know you all have not made decisions, so this is just kind of an initial, we want to be involved. I feel like we are, but we just kind of wanted to put pen to paper to say, hey, we want to be involved. My boss once upon a time stood up for me in a similar manner, so that's what I'm doing also. And our letter, I also feel, is very genuine and well thought out from our employees, and they do a great job. So I would like to support them also, and I think they raised some excellent points. And that's all.
Thanks, John.
Madam President, if I may, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Sheriff Matheny. I'd talked to him. He wanted to be here today. Unfortunately, he had some family matters that he had to take care of, which prevents him from being here today. But he did say that he supports, you know, the pay step grade thing as well, and he will be contacting you all at a later date because of his absence today.
Thank you, Albert. Anyone else?
Thank you all for hearing.
You got it.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Anybody else in this room wish to speak publicly? Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Anyone on Zoom?
You need to click that, Johnny, just let him unmute you.
I need to ask one more time. One more time, is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly?
Yeah, yeah.
Do I need to ask? They can hear me though, right?
Yes. Yeah, they've had, it was open where they could. So.
Okay, well, hearing none, we can move on.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Number 2, consent agenda. What's the pleasure?
I have a couple questions, Madam President.
Okay.
Hey, Jim, can you unmute?
Yes, sir, I'm unmuted.
Question for you. We bought 30 for about $700, and now we're asking for 10 more, which I don't mind because it's coming out of the 27 budget, which you have money in. But how many headsets? Like, could that go towards something you asked for in the budget this year?
Commissioner, I apologize. I was unable to copy any of that. The audio keeps dropping in and out.
Jim, the question is on the purchase of headsets, if you can hear me, is explaining the need for additional headsets at this time and whether it can wait or situation is.
I asked you, Jim, was it 9 months ago, you spot 13, and I don't mind, I reiterate, I don't mind you buying them because they're coming out of the allocated line item that they're supposed to. But, you know, yesterday we talked about new stuff. Why so many headsets?
They are needed for replacement. These headsets are used on a 24/7 basis. Over time, they do degrade, they do go bad. We are officially at 0 on our surplus stock. We've got a few left over from a version previous, which quite honestly, we're not up to snuff with our needs, which is why we switched to the ones that we're currently using. And we do have a legitimate need for them, in my professional opinion.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. I just want to make sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Willie, we got a requisition for $11,000 for installation of the wall. Harrison County 911.
Oh, that's a wall mount HVAC unit for the equipment room because it was overheating to cool that room.
And then the last thing I have is plats and deeds and engineering design for Thrasher Engineering for the property out there, the Harvest Care. I thought that part of the agreement was that Harvest Care was going to take care of that in return for the land if they did follow up and finish the project. That's what, remember when Amy and Andy were here, that if they did the.
Yeah, we don't have.
Cost to us, the taxpayers, and we would then give them an $800,000 piece of land.
Yeah, they're gonna take care of the site development cost. We engaged Thrasher to set those parameters and designs. When I say we, the Development Authority and County Commission. Excuse me. So I would see that as an obligation of the county. Now we can talk to Harvest Metro about getting reimbursed for that if you so desire. But they are looking at the actual site development themselves.
Well, I'm pretty determined that it's a pretty sweet deal we've agreed to give them that piece of property if they do what they say they're going to do. And I'm pretty determined if they don't, but
Yeah.
I won't support giving them. that
Yeah,
piece of property.
and part of the thought process of that is to have an independent party in Thrasher that is not beholding or whoever the engineering firm is to the developer or to the company that's developing that site. If you don't approve this, we're not going to pay your bill type thing. So Thrasher has to approve, as well as the Development Authority and county, that everything's done to the satisfaction before the property transfers. That's in the
That makes sense.
agreement that Mr. Simmerman is drafting or has drafted.
Okay.
When was the survey done?
It's been ongoing for months.
Okay. Well, because I don't know if it was when he presented those plats or somebody presented those plats.
Yeah, I mean, it's been ongoing for months to finalizing the scope of the work.
Okay. That's all I have.
Where are we with getting the reporting from the PSDs? How are we still working on that?
We're still working on that as it relates to, Ms. Schaefer has been out to visit with 2 of the PSDs that I'm aware of earlier this week and last week. But we're trying to make contact with all of them and get
When do you think you can?
it's going to take a while to get to everybody, and explain to them what we're looking for, but we will continue to work
It
on
just
that.
came to my mind when I was looking through that.
Okay.
That's why I asked.
And we're still the same way with
Right.
you. We're still just-
Now we have to take one of them at a time. I can do the bad ones first. Okay, anything else on the consent agenda? If not, what's the pleasure? David, do you have anything?
Just the normal from ESD.
That's the pleasure on the consent agenda. Motion to move forward with the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Payroll change notices.
We have none that I'm aware of.
Okay, we have no payroll change notices. Exoneration, corrective tickets, joint property.
Have none that I'm aware of.
Okay. Consolidation of land, segregation of the land, none.
None that I'm aware of.
And we have one, consideration of approval of a project fund requisition, unless it expanded, for the payment of costs associated with the projects to be financed from proceeds of the Series 2019 bonds issued for Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development District Series 2015 A and B, Development District Number 3, White Oaks Project Number 2, and Series 2008A, Charles Point Project Number 2, North Land Bay Improvements, excuse me. Requisition for payment number 309-2121 UMB Bank for $3,575.66. Is there anything further we need to know?
Not that I'm aware of unless there'd be questions from the commission.
No questions? What's the pleasure?
Move to approve.
Move to approve the one requisition. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 7. Is there anything?
We have no requisitions for number 7.
Nothing for number 7. Okay, number 8. Review, discuss, consider modifications of parking policy procedure on county-owned lots.
Doug, does Gary have something to present?
I have no idea. Gary, are you on?
Yeah,
You have any updates? on the
no, I haven't. I mean, I had talked to Mr. Parker a couple of weeks ago about, and he said that Hazel had been working on it, and I wanted to get the information. But I also at that point wanted, you know, if I'm asked to do this, I want to know what the direction is. I mean, who we're going to put in there or whatever. I mean, I can go down the seniority list and see who's eligible, but I mean, I don't know whether there's been direction as to whether state employees are or aren't in that. So, I mean, if someone gives, I'm willing to do whatever to get it done and get the information. I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult a decision. I just need direction from the commission as a whole.
My question, I'm gonna ask a question I thought of. When you I think, when the commission, and correct me if I'm wrong, purchased the lot on the end that Olin Beck owned, you negotiated to give them 10 spots in that parking lot. Is that correct? And are all 10 of those spaces, do they have anybody parking in those 10 spaces?
That was the correct, Madam President. Hollenbeck and they working with them. And part of the agreement was that we would provide 10 parking spots for the 10 that we are utilizing for our annex project there along Washington Street. They've been issued 10 vehicle passes. They are being used. I don't know if all 10 are used every day, but I do know they're being used. But they have the right under our agreement for those 10 spots.
I did ask that question of Olenbeck. I think right now they've got one person parking in there.
But we already gave up 10 spots. That sure would have come in handy. Just my 2 cents.
Listen, Gary, I don't care what you do. Most important thing to me is that the seniority list is all encompassing of the courthouse, not commission, you know, prosecutor, clerk. I just want it to be seniority driven, next man or woman up. That's what's important to me.
Okay, I believe there's 20 some empty spots that are ours at this time. Is that correct, Mr. Parker?
Yeah, right
20
now,
some, so it should be easy to go down the list and fill those 20.
is, you know, the question that we had, or discussion that we had last week was, are we going to include or return state employees in? That was some of the question. The previous commission took action in August of last year, and the state employees that were parking there were given until November the 1st to vacate and find other arrangements. And there was discussion about allowing them back in. If that's not the desire now, then we can move forward and proceed, but we didn't want to move forward until we were made sure that what the intent or what the decision of the commission was.
Correct.
So right now, we only take 67 spaces out of 90.
Yeah, you've got, there's 90 available spots, 43 for, county employees, 10 for Hollenbeck, 14 for, county vehicles, 43 current county employees parking there, which leaves 23 available to move forward. And there was discussion about adding family court back to that. If you do that, then that drops that to 19.
Okay, we paid for 3, I signed a requisition today for 3 spots to the city.
Yes,
Okay, that says 4.
there's
Is that,
4.
does one of them pay on a different time?
There's, as I understand it, there's 4 family court employees. The other individual has not requested reimbursement for it. They were parking outside of that area anyway. I don't know if they didn't want to park at the city garage
I
or
just couldn't
or
figure
what
out
the
why 4 there
situation
and
was.
Okay. Now so that leaves 19
If,
spots.
if you move
How
family
many
court back,
state employees were told that they needed to find another location to park?
there was a number in probation. If the state employees would return back, we'd have little or none spots left.
Well, I'd like to know
I
how
think
many
the question
state
is
employees.
how many were there? Did 5 get kicked out, did 9 get kicked out, or did 20 get kicked out?
Let's see.
And I've heard all of about the county's employees, and I get that to a certain extent, but I was a state employee, I've been a county employee, yes, I've been in the garage.
Looks like there was 12 to 13 on my email chain.
Okay.
Just to let the other 2 commissioners, I gave you a handout that's highlighted in yellow, and 142 on the tax map is a parking lot that's hardly, if maybe 1 or 2 cars ever used, belongs to the state of West Virginia. The state of West Virginia owns 142, 141, 140, 139, 215, 216, 217.
Well, maybe that's a discussion we can have.
Parking's an issue for state employees. State of West Virginia should handle that with an existing parking lot, not use county property to park state employees.
I think that's, well, the auditors, I know the auditors park in that lot,
So there's no reason.
but I'm not opposed to
Those-
talking to somebody and trying to get them to put somewhere to park.
If I can say one other thing, there are actually, we have 3 cruisers in our truck that we pay for parking from the city ourselves, and we'll continue to do that. I would just like the commission to keep in mind, once the new building is built, we would like to at least, have some ability. I don't know what the plans are for the empty space across the street of Washington Avenue where it's currently staging, but, I'd like to have the ability to purchase at least a portion of that for our vehicles to be able to park in there so we can have our cruisers outside our door and maybe, a couple of spaces for our visitors who come in here to drug screen.
I'll just say that, when it comes to family court, I think they absolutely should be in our parking lot. I understand the state employees. If you guys don't want the state employees back in here, then just start with the seniority list and roll down it. You see what I'm saying, Gary?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and I think Mr. Parker said it as well. It's kind of a moot point, for me to work on anything or even get with Mr. Parker until you guys give me a specific direction. Either the state employees are in or they're out, and then we can go from there.
David, do you want the state employees in or out, Susan? Do you want the grandfather, the people that were in there?
Well, David has a good point. I mean, if there are spaces in the state lot that they can utilize,
Then fine. Then Gary, then I'll make the motion on the floor. Go ahead and backfill the 20 spots based on seniority list, and please give me a copy of the seniority list. I don't ever want somebody skipped over. And then whoever the 21st person is, I know who it is, and when somebody retires, then I can say, hey, congratulations, you finally got a spot. But I don't want to pay for parking to the city of Clarksburg when we own a parking lot.
I mean, those 10 spots would come in handy right now. That's mine. Again, 2 cents.
So that's what I recommend. Start with the seniority list and just fill parking spot, assign a spot. If somebody's had a spot for the past 10 years they like, give it to them.
But I would like to know how many state employees there actually are, too.
State employees in the courthouse.
That one apartment space. I just had a,
I had 12 to 13 on my email list that I'd sent.
how long ago was that?
That was when commission took action in August. That was with the employees that
There may have been some
indicated
have
that-
retired since then.
indicated, that they were parking there. I don't think any of these people have
I mean, I don't want to.
retired.
Anyway, we'll start with this.
Okay.
We'll make the motion on the floor to start with the seniority list and get a copy of it there, all the constitutional officers, so they know who the next person is out. And we'll fill the spots that we have right now based on seniority.
And that motion included putting the family court back into,
Absolutely.
okay. Just wanted to clarify.
If you can write, I don't know how many family court spaces were originally in there.
Either 3 or 4, Gary, I'll find that out.
And also, since I'm not over there, if what Commissioner Hinkle produced there with that you said that was highlighted with state spaces, if you can get me a copy of that, I can make some phone calls to someone at the state and try to get those freed up for those individuals. It wouldn't hurt to make a phone call and try to see if we can get, get those spaces for them.
We'll get it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Motion's been made to move forward and for Gary to, I want to make sure and get a seniority list of those that are up to be placed in the parking lot. Add back in the 3 or 4 family court that was in there. Is that complete? Okay.
Gary,
Yes.
you are not using any of Allenback's parking that we have been paying for. Will we stop paying for that parking?
What do you, what's that? You mean,
On those 10 spots, you used
Yeah.
to have 2 or 3 of them that was paid through the lease. Or you have any county vehicles parked in those 10 spots at Allenback?
no, we actually, I'm trying to think. I'll have to look. We do pay for parking for our cruisers. And I don't know whether it's from I believe it's from the ABM company out back. Yeah, we're not currently paying Olenbeck. four spots. I guess we could pay Olin back and get one of those 10, or get those four of those 10 spots. I could ask them that, but they don't seem to. I asked them, they only have one person in those 10 spots and don't seem to want to fill them. So I could see about paying Olin back for those spots in our lot. We'll at least put our vehicles in our lot, even if we have to pay them, but it'd still free up 4 spaces for county employees.
Gary, I assure you, I'm not gonna vote to pay Olin back for a spot in our parking lot. I'm gonna tell you, so we're off base here.
And that's fine, but we are, like I'm saying, we're paying for 4 spots out of our budget. We'll continue to do that because if need be, to free up 4 spots in the lot. But if you know, at the same time, if you want all the county vehicles in there, we do have 4 county vehicles that aren't in that lot, and we do pay for.
I don't wanna pay for anything.
But that would be 4 less for county employees, is what I'm saying, if we did move those cars into that lot.
Now, so you might as well move everything, take your nice.
Yeah, it's cost cutting, cost cutting.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, and that's where I hope you're seeing where I'm coming. I just need whatever direction. Do we, is it that we're trying to get as many county employees in there, or the cost cutting? Because it would say, I mean, it's going to save us, about $100 a month if we were able to put our vehicles in there.
Let's do it and save $100 a month. It's $1,200 a year. Something.
Just whatever your direction is to me.
There's 2 other commissioners, but I'm for cost cutting and I'm for a seniority list for everybody.
So is the motion still on the floor that I?
It just amended to include moving the 4 cars that we're paying for parking now. And save them all.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, it's 10:32, and we have a hearing on the estate of Laura Mitchell.
Go see if somebody's out there.
You can wait, please, sir.
Anybody out here for a hearing at 10:30? Hearing at 10:30?
The notice has been given, right?
Hearing at 10:30? Nothing, no one's out there.
Okay.
Right.
Very so.
So no one is appearing with the 10:30, and we know the notices. Okay, notices were sent to all parties. The clerk, what's the pleasure? No, we can't move forward with it. I guess there's nobody here. You don't want to sign anything and do it. Because the petition is up.
You want to send it to family to court?
No, I assume there's an attorney involved, so he should have been. I guess if he wants to reschedule it, he can. That sound like a plan?
Yeah, I understand, but
Yeah, he's got the deceased as the petitioner.
this one of us.
I don't know if they've been here before. I don't think so. They can't find the original will. I think is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I believe they'd like you all to decide if you would like to accept the copy, but that's all they have.
Maybe he didn't think he needed to be here.
I understand this, it's the,
I think it's the daughter, is supposed to be filing a petition. And I think the funeral home is prepared. I don't know who prepared it. Did you read it?
I did look at the packet. I think it was a Mr. Hensel, who's the attorney for Davis Weaver. I'm not sure if that's the gentleman who was here last time.
Yes. That's it.
But certainly he filed it, did not appear. So we give him a call, see if he wants to reschedule.
Do we have to?
I think as a courtesy, you should.
I almost sent it to you to look at.
All right.
I looked at it.
Okay. I should have known you did. So we'll just call him and let him know. Okay, we'll move on to number 9. Review, discuss legislative analysis for county coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery fund.
Number 9 and number 10 are related, and just for information purposes for the commission, that the National Association of Counties provided some information through the County Commissioners Association and the West Virginia Association of Counties on the funding that's will be coming directly to counties and cities, and outlines some of the allowable expenditures as their analysis looks like. It could be an eligible expenditure, which is on page it starts very at the bottom, allowable, maybe used by counties too, and it goes to page 3, uses of recovery funds. Respond to public health emergencies with respect to COVID-19 or its negative economic impacts, and respond to workers performing essential work, which is the premium pay eligibility for workers of the county. For the provisions of governmental services to the extent of the reduction in revenue, which are related to COVID-19, and make necessary investments in water, sewer, or broadband infrastructure, which outlines some of the expenses. I'm sure there'll be additional explanations or more clarifications as we move forward. It appears, in my understanding of the distribution to the fund, there'll be one check this year for half the funding, which is supposed to be issued within 60 days of enactment. And then the second payment, or the second half, 12 months after the first payment. So that's the timing of the distribution of that. And you have a printout, and I condensed it down just to West Virginia cities and counties of the eligible funding. And Harrison County is slated, projected, expected, whatever word you would like to use, $13.04 million. And then there's this towns and cities in Harrison County will also be receiving funding as outlined in the attachment. So, there's a chance for, if the commission so desires, and working an opportunity, not a chance, but an opportunity to work with the assessor's office to identify reductions in valuations that's related to the COVID-19, whether it be inventory or whatever the cases may be, that you could offset some revenue loss out of that funding, and then other eligible projects as outlined. I don't know if there's any questions at this point, but it's sort of a moving explanation at this point and ongoing.
Motion made for today's record.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. So that takes care of 9. You want 10?
10, I mean, it's the same, similar information from Senator Manchin's office that he provided, or his staff provided.
Okay, number 11, review, discuss, consider a resolution authorizing the acceptance of procedure related to Hatch Act and grant administration.
This is a requirement under the CARES Act grant that we'll be submitting. You have to name a Hatch Act information officer. We listed myself. And the Hatch Act, in case anybody is not familiar with it, deals with the employment of governmental employees and political activity that they are or are not allowed to participate in. A violation of the Hatch Act can put your federal funding in jeopardy. As well as individuals' employment.
What's the pleasure?
Motion move forward.
And a fixed signature?
Yep.
Okay, motion's been made to move forward and fixed signatures. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposition, so motion carried. Review, discuss, consider Harrison County Courthouse Operations Plan COVID-19 pandemic.
Commission requested that this be a topic for discussion today to see how the county moves, if we make adjustments to our current procedure or what you would like to see and going forward. This is our current operation plan dealing with, timing of arrivals for, the public, opening to the public, at 9 o'clock, a half hour later than the normal pre-COVID-19 established hours of operation and such. We still have the social distancing requirement and mask requirement. The commission cannot really, waive those.
Listen, we know how serious the COVID is. I mean, I could just reach through this wall and know how it's affecting people in your office personally that we care dearly about. At the same time, we know that we're moving past this. We understand social distancing. Hopefully, we understand the importance of hygiene after a year. And we've got to get back to where we were. That's my personal feeling, because by now we are very educated and we are very sensitive to it. But at the same time, we also know that it's full blown in the restaurants. I said it last week that Lowe's had so many people in it you couldn't find your way through it the other day. So we know where to stay out of, and we know where to go. Personal preference. I take my mask off right now because I back up as far away from Susan as I can, out of courtesy to her and John. I also do believe with all my heart, and it's up to the two of you, that we can save $60,000 by closing the 3rd Street door. It's a cost saving. I think it's the right thing to do. I don't want to inconvenience people by walking another 25 yards to the front door. But by now, if I don't know to stand behind Johnny 6 feet when he's walking in front of me, I'm never going to know it. But the cost savings is there, and it's an opportunity for us to, you heard what was said today in public meetings. We've got to make some changes somewhere because of what's happening. But that's choice. That's where I'm at.
We decide to leave the side door open until
So they were supposed to, we voted to allow 3 months to see what kind of use was getting that car.
Well, the other day, other than employees, 2 citizens walked through it. So, and I gotta believe we're okay asking our employees to walk to the front. So I agree with the 3 months and I'll go with that, but I will say after 3 months, I hope we cut it off for next year's savings.
Question, I guess, is, do we want, what we want to do? I mean, we still gonna check people in at the front, I guess, is that the question? Are we gonna take temperatures? We still gotta we'll require masks. Even though I was in John's office yesterday, some poor woman came in late, just a breathing heavy without a mask. Maybe she had an issue. I don't know.
I mean, that's the question is, clarification that we need is, do you want to take the temperatures of staff and visit or public? Do you want the employees to continue to fill out the check-in worksheet? Do you want employees at the front door, reminding people about temperatures, reminding people about masks? Or do you want the security guards to handle that duty in addition to security? Do you want to open up at public at 8:30 or do you want to leave it at 9 o'clock?
I think that walking through the front door without a mask is security. And I don't think they need to take temperatures anymore because, again, we can't control them. Before they got here, of course, the day they stopped at Kroger's, the post office, the Walgreens, and whether they have a temperature or not, and our people, when they leave work today, they're gonna go eat, they're gonna go shop, they're gonna go get their car tuned up, there's daily living hasn't stopped. Unfortunately, none of us can live in a bubble. But I think our guys at the front door can say, hey, listen, we require you to wear a mask. We ask you not to carry a gun, we ask you not to carry a knife, and we ask you to wear a mask.
I mean, if we're not gonna do that, I would suggest we leave the hours the way they are. For the lack of, so there's no,
I mean, we've got those devices, I don't know why we're not using temperature tape.
I still use it downstairs even though there's nobody there. I don't know.
And that
Well, I've
device,
seen some sheets down there.
and that device can be attached to that door won't unlock if your temperature says 101, but you want it to.
It's a great idea, David.
I mean, those devices will do a lot of things, we just haven't implemented what they're capable of.
I think we should implement it no later than Monday of next week and move forward.
I'm gonna probably keep to move that fast.
Can you do it?
But how you, you're gonna have somebody gonna have a door downstairs on the first floor. Is that what you're saying?
In the garage, you can move that over and that thing will facial recognize to allow you to come in at the same time.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do on the ground when we're at the main entrance?
Just takes everybody's temperature and logs in who comes in.
Who's gonna do that? Security?
The person before they get into security, and if they can't get it to take their temperature, then I said the other day, security can hit them with the thermometer and be done with it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to speak, but I would be happy to call the health department and see what their most recent recommendations are going forward before you guys make any decisions right here and right now. Get back to you all very quickly. I don't mind to do that at all, if that would be at all helpful to the three of you in trying to figure out.
What we're
What to do next.
What we are supposed to do.
Yeah.
All right, Rich, just so you know, and I don't want you to think I jumped the gun. I'm our representative on the health department, and this is their,
Yes.
what I just shared with you was their message to me.
Right?
Things are,
Because you can go to restaurants. Restaurants are wide open. Our government buildings any different than a restaurant.
and
I mean, I've heard people talk, they went to a restaurant last night.
Yeah.
When I ask you, if you talk to the health department, have they changed the guidelines on what we're allowed to have in the office at one time?
no.
Because, we do, because we're only allowed one on each side, we do cause a lot of traffic in the halls because of people waiting.
Let me find out for you.
So just keep that in mind. And we really are not comfortable with bringing back more than maybe one or two at a time right now.
But you could do that in your office.
But I'm just telling you that,
Right,
that
right.
makes traffic in the hall because of the people waiting.
Then we have a meeting tomorrow, and I'll find out for you. And I'll get back to those, all of you.
I think most counties, from what we get from the county association, we are like super lenient compared to other counties. They're still only allowing 2-3 people in their courthouses. They're still running them super tight in some of these southern counties.
So we want to move, will you find out that information?
Yeah.
Back on next week?
Absolutely.
Okay. Once again, we'll tackle this next week. Okay. I think we have a 10:45, but I think it's an update.
Yeah, it's not a hearing, it's just an update from a February hearing is what we have, and I think Ms. Schaefer has that update for the commission, or update.
Since the hearing, he has done nothing more.
Which one are we talking
Oh, I'm
about? We
sorry,
have
Kendall.
two. Okay,
That, I think he needs to go Trey. Trey's turn.
So to your all's pleasure, that's fine.
Motion send it to court.
Push it to circuit court.
Motion's been made to move, is this Timothy Michael Kendall
Yes.
issue to the circuit court? Any
The other
further-
one is Brian May. He has since moved out 10 more cars.
He's not on here.
he was included in the packet, but he was not listed on the agenda. You're correct, Madam
So
President.
that's
he is
something we
working.
probably need to,
But he is working on it, you
He
said?
is working on it.
okay. So he doesn't need to go, okay.
We'll continue to follow up with him with that case.
So there is a motion. Is there a motion?
Yes.
Okay. Do it to circuit court. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Doesn't appear to be any opposition, so the motion carried. Review, discuss, consider meeting submission timelines for 2021. I just want to make sure that I understand. Day of the meeting, so we want it by Thursday at 11.
Normally that is Friday at 11 unless there's a holiday
Okay.
situation. So
Can you still get it out before the end of the day on Friday? I mean,
we can,
whenever you're supposed to.
yeah, we can get the preliminary or draft agenda out on that Friday afternoon to the commission. And then, all the agenda items, all requisitions, everything along those lines, we, need to have in. And then Monday by 2:00, we'll finalize that, the requisition list on Monday morning, get that included in the agenda packet. And the goal or stated time is to have that distributed by 2:00, available to the public, distributed on the email list or whatever the case, may be. So those are the,
Motion's been made to move forward with the timeline. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. So review, discuss, consider fiscal year 2020-2021 budget and related matters. I think we discussed this previously. We're going to do this tomorrow.
yeah, we do have a meeting scheduled tomorrow at 10:00, I do believe it is. So
Is that okay with the two of you?
Are you okay with that?
You good with that? Good. Okay. Can we get commissioner comments and questions over in 6 minutes?
Real quick. Hey, I wanted to tell you guys, Rachel and Rocky, I've asked Willie to do a proclamation for the health department next week. They have done an incredible job.
Beyond, I mean, it's amazing what they've
And
done.
include Laura. why don't we just ask Chad when he's here?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this, because I had it in my notes that I wanted to remind him we wanted to talk about reclamation.
Yeah.
And we'll just follow him and, you know.
And I think like OEM definitely needs to be included in your proclamation. for sure.
Absolutely.
It's, I mean, it's.
And recognize that the other municipalities, Bridgeport City Police, Clarksville City Police, the deputies, I don't know what the deputies.
The nurses that have given their.
The nurses, the retired nurses.
You might have to have a special proclamation for Laura Pitt, because I don't think anybody put out more emails than she did.
But you're informed.
Just a thought.
Absolutely.
If you're going to invite him over for a proclamation, should we put him to work? I mean, you know, should we?
He's so overworked, it doesn't matter. anymore,
Okay.
Sheriff. It's like you as sheriff, you didn't know, you were exhausted and you kept going.
Yeah, okay, good deal.
And then the only thing I have is
Throwing
that
that out there.
it's not a budget item for next year. Hey, Elizabeth, can you hear me?
I don't hear.
Don't see the name.
That's okay. Willie, let me tell you, and you can direct her. In the 027 account in the levy, she has $36,000 budgeted this year and she hasn't spent it. And last year she had $30,000, $29,670, and didn't spend it. She gave it back. Well, this year in this budget, she's asking for a new vehicle. Tell her to spend her $36,000 in this budget, so next year we can be extremely conservative with her budget like we're gonna be with everybody else, and exchange the car that she already has that she says is so old, because it's in the budget this year. You see what I'm saying? Tell me what.
Because the truck that she has some mechanical issues that we believe can be fixed.
Yeah.
It's low mileage truck. And that's what we suggested. She do.
Okay, fine. But sorry, but as far, that's okay, but as far as, you know, people with the wish list for next year, they better get it this year if they have the money.
She wants a new building.
Turn that Kevin agenda. That's all I have.
I was called again yesterday about the CCC truck that I had asked, put on the agenda a while back to get an update on that. Can you, I know where you're going.
No, I mean, I can tell you that what the issues are.
We lost the title.
No, we never had it. He
Yeah,
lost
you
the
did,
title.
no, maybe you did.
I think you go back.
Regina had that information, she passed away, and now it's gone. Sorry.
I don't think we ever had it. That was why he gave it to us, so we could get the title.
Well, maybe we can try to help her get the title,
Well,
but I know we had information on it.
I'll see what we can find and
I don't
see if
think
we have it in
can
the
find
file or
anything,
what.
But I mean, if we can at least help them, try to direct them what they need to do to get a lost title, or I think that would be a nice thing to do. If we don't, I don't know we don't have the title. I'm not saying we did have the title, but with Sevilla, and it's been, like I said, when Regina was still there. That's how long it's been. So if we could put this to bed some way, somehow, I would appreciate it.
so I'll be attending by Zoom on the 31st.
We're almost there. Okay. Mr. Keely?
Yes, ma'am.
You can come on in and explain Do we want to do the proclamation first and maybe explain later? Or
I just want to get our first Facebook picture, so I'm George.
What you guys getting there? So I guess we're gonna do the proclamation first. Proclamation.
We'll have to let's see.
So you sat down for a minute.
Gotcha.
Just wanna, up here, I don't care.
Come stand with us.
You go right ahead. And this is
Hey,
my-
Mike Pizzino, get ready.
And this is my first time. Why don't you let Trey take a
I was
picture?
gonna say, Tracy, why aren't you up here?
I'll take a picture, get up there.
Come on.
You want me to hold that or
You need to
kind of hold it here?
Here, get up there.
I just want to read it.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's what we.
That'll help, huh?
I know, right?
I just. Somebody else can read it if they want to. Okay, whereas March is American Red Cross Month, a special time to honor the kindness of our neighbors who aid families in need locally in Harrison County, West Virginia, across the United States and around the world. Their dedication touches millions of lives each year as they carry out the organization's 140-year mission of preventing and alleviating suffering. Whereas during the trying times of the coronavirus pandemic, people have stepped up to help others in need, whether it was responding to this year's record-breaking disasters across the country or rolling up their sleeves to give blood when our country faced a severe blood shortage. Whereas West Virginia local families have relied on local volunteers for comfort and hope while coping with home fires, floods, and more. The Red Cross and its local volunteers helped over 700 families impacted by home fires in West Virginia, many in Harrison County, by addressing their urgent needs like food, lodging, and recovery support. Whereas West Virginia volunteers have supported local families in other ways too. Last year in West Virginia, the Red Cross collected over 30,000 units of life-saving blood while providing COVID-19 antibody testing to every donor, and provided nearly 3,000 services to military members, veterans, and their families. Whereas the life-saving work is vital to strengthening our community's resilience, nearly 200 years since the birth of American Red Cross founder Clara Barton, we dedicated this month of March to all those who continue to advance her noble legacy. And we ask others to join in their commitment to care for people in need. Now, therefore, the Harrison County Commission dedicates March 2001 as Red Cross Month to all those who support the American Red Cross mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. Our community depends on the American Red Cross, which relies on volunteers and the generosity of the public to perform its mission. Passed by the County Commission of Harrison County, West Virginia on this 17th day of March 2021.
Now, everybody stay there. Mr. D's gonna come out, okay, we're more balanced now. There we go.
There we
Who are we looking
go.
at? Yeah.
Now we're
One,
smiling at
two,
our masks.
three.
Yeah.
Just give me wrinkles in my eyes. That's all it's doing.
We good?
Thank you so very
Okay,
much.
thank you very much.
Thank
And I'll just make a comment or
Thank
Yes,
two.
please.
Go right ahead.
So yeah, just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be here. And I'm the executive director of the the Allegheny Highlands chapter. And it's really my privilege to be here to accept this on behalf of the volunteers that serve our mission. This tradition, the County Commission has continued for several years and followed suit, frankly, of one that's happened since President Franklin Roosevelt. To understand locally what we have done in this county, last year we responded to 19 home fires. We collected almost 900 units of blood, and that included a record-setting blood drive actually in December that happened at the Robinson Grand Theater. We collected almost 130 units of blood. Each unit of blood can help save up to 3 lives. We provided 70 services to members of the armed forces and veterans. Primarily, what we do is we provide emergency services so that when active duty service members have an emergency at home, we're responsible through the Department of Defense to actually verify there has been an emergency and a service member should be released for a period from their service. And then lastly, of course, we provide life-saving CPR and first aid instruction as well. So it's just an opportunity to highlight that. And again, what's most important is the volunteers that serve us every day. So thanks again. And if you have any questions, I'm glad to answer them. Otherwise, we really appreciate it.
And you have a special funding request, I believe, as well.
That is correct. For a biomed fleet vehicle that we're raising funds for that will be used to serve this county and adjacent counties as well. So this request is being made of other bodies too.
And you're requesting,
$2,000 is the request, Madam President.
motion has been made to move forward with a $2,000 donation. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No opposition, motion carried.
All right, again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
How you doing? Good. How you doing, Jason? All right.
Jason, this is a box.
All right, thanks again, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I think that takes care of our business for today. I'll entertain a motion. Am I wrong? Anybody want
Motion to go into recess until tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
We have to go into recess. We already have a meeting.
We have a special meeting called, so you're okay.
All right.
So-
Adjourn.
Okay, motion's been made to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.